passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Ewan in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Coming down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Look at Johnson! They haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it! Big Barry! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sunday Nights. It is, of course, the iGPFun F3 League Round 5 from the Redbull Ring. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by the one, the only, the Mr. Ewan O'Leary here this evening, who's going to be bringing the action alongside me tonight. Let's have a look at that top 30 in the standings. It is Kenzie Neuhoff out in front, up 2 places on 165, and then Greg Seats on 153. Max Bartolotta in third on 151, with Evan Way in fourth on 150. Antonio Jimenez on 149, and you got Connor Gibbons sixth on 138. Robert Ridgway on 131, and you got Jack Williams, Adam Townsma tied on 123, Andy Flint on 120, then Luca Varani in 11th, Chop Morrow 12th, Stuart Mill on 13th, Pedro Suarez is in 14th, and Ivan Zorano in 15th place. Then behind that, you've got Ben Gaiotti in 16th, Edward Amos in 17th, Timo Braun in 18th, Will McIntyre is in 19th, Marek Otlovs, Marcis Putnieks, Richard Wedstead, Vyacheslav Podopenko, and Nick Carty in to your 24. 25th, you got Louis Gregg, Paolo Brem, John McKenzie, Christian Glamsita, Rino Scattini, and Dorian Orujo in 30th place there as well. We are at the very short Red Bull Ring here, and let's have a chat with Mr. O'Leary and find out all about this very interesting circuit. Ramax, yo, welcome in, thank you so much. But Ewan O'Leary, good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Good evening, doing well. Looking forward to another race around the Red Bull Ring, because I really think this is a fantastic circuit to go off. We've already seen one of the challenges sort of bypassed by the drivers. Track limits are a bit of a problem around here. Getting off tracks on your qualifying laps, well, with half an hour, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. The racing, though, around here should be absolutely fantastic. There's obviously the front straight, the straight between turn 1 and 3, another one to turn 4, and some more opportunities to slipstream within the circuit as well. Not many corners around here, but what it makes up for in a lack of corners is greatness in terms of racing. You do see some fantastic battling around here, and especially in open wheel cars, so this should be fantastic. Looking forward to getting this race underway soon.
Yeah, absolutely as well. We do have a purple zone that leads to the end of turn, coming out of turn 1. Now, they've also brought in a magenta zone as well, from turn 1 right the way through to the end of turn 4, and it's basically will be penalised as an accident in the no pass zone, so they are going to have to be careful here. 35 laps on the clock ready to go once more, but they are going to have to be a little bit careful. Now in the 2.5k championship, Stuart Milne, John McKenzie and Paolo Brem are your top 3, but let's bring you up the grid here this evening as well and tell you what's going to be happening. It's Max Bartolotta, the Italian, out in front with a 1:23.673. Then Samuel Hermer in second, Tony Jimenez in third, Andrea Cata in fourth with Pedro Suarez in fifth, Kenzie Neuhoff in sixth, Simon Fessy seventh, Evan Way eighth, Luca Varani ninth, Richard Wedstead 10th, Robert Ridgway 12th, and Will McIntyre Jones there at the 12th place, Timo Braun in 13th, Dennis Cornu in 14th, Connor Gibb 15th, Christian Glamsitter in 16th, Clark Williams 17th, Marek Otlovs 18th, Stuart Milne 19th, Eddie Amos in 20th, Louis Gregg 21st, Vyacheslav Potapenko 22nd, Alex Hopkins, and then Reed Dennis. Beyond that, you've got Reno Scatini, Garrett Spence, Nick Carty, Ben Gaiotti, Chuck Morrow, Giovanni Solito rounds out the top 30. Then you've got Paolo Brem, Adam Townsman down in 32nd, Marcello Kessler and Dorian Orujo in 34th. Then Ivan Zorano and Matt Brewer round out the 36. Arturo Mayorga, Matthew Gracie, Michael LeMay, Jose Arurio and Maximilian Gebhardt are your 41 cars. 41 cars, Mr. O'Leary, hurtling around a very short track. That's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I don't think, obviously, it's the short track that's going to play into a fault, although maybe it will. It's going to be that big stop on the run up towards turn 3, in my opinion. Turn 1 could even be a bit of a problem because it is quite narrow there. Despite being quite wide on the entry, there is the tarmac runoff to the left-hand side, though, through that corner, so that should be absolutely fine. I think, the big stop at turn 3 is going to be a big problem, and it's going to be interesting to see if everybody gets through there cleanly. Hopefully they do, with the caution that they all have to take.
Here we go. The lights are going to be on. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are green, green, green here at the Red Bull Ring. And it is Max Bartolotta out in front currently as he's going running down into turn 1. Now we are racing here as well. Samuel Hermer, Tony Jimenez, Andrew Cata, Pedro Suarez, then Kenzie Neuhoff. Everybody made it through, by the looks of it, through turn 1 as we go on that run up into turn 3. We can count, guys. This is apparently turn 2 before we go into turn 3. Max Barlotta, Samuel Hermo almost side by side. There's action further back as well. Timo Braun coming through, battling away with Connor Gibb there as well. And at the moment, apart from Matthew Gracie showing up that he's had an incident, and Garrett Spence, everybody looks like they've made it through cleanly.
Yeah, I think Carty may have been involved in that all as well, as we got side by side for the lead. Max Bartolotta trying to hang on here from Samuel Hermer, who led that qualifying session for quite some time. He's clearly got the speed, and he's staying with Max Bartolotta here, trying to take that lead away. Can't quite do it, and there are no changes inside the top 4 at the moment. Kenzie Neuhoff is the first driver to have made a place so far in this race, and he's up to 5th just as of right now. But this circuit will be a lot about staying in the slipstream, staying with the front group, and so Bartolotta and Hermer are fighting, but they're both going to be in the front group at the end of lap 1, so that's all that really matters at the end of this one.
Yeah, it is at the moment. Robert Ridgway is your man down in 10th, who's losing 1.1 seconds over Luca Varani in 9th place there. They're going to have to be careful with these off tracks, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more and more people who will end up going through the pit lane and probably will end up getting a drive through here as well, and that's purely because of how tight it is, Ewan. I think that's the thing, isn't it, with the off tracks at the Red Bull Ring? Sometimes you sneeze at a curb and you've got an off track, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful, more careful than normal.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're going to want to make sure they don't get that incident limit, and around here it can be easy to get, so just a little bit of caution. But that's what's kind of helpful about this group situation that we've got. If you're in the front group, then you know that you don't actually need to push that hard. You don't have to take so many risks with the off tracks and the incident points. So if you have made this front group, then you'll be very pleased about that. But it's just a case of, does everybody else take on the same ideas as you about how to go about this race? Well, back here, they certainly haven't, because there's a big fight at the moment for what is 11th place. Timo Braun in front of Richard Wedstead now, and you can understand them wanting to get past a slower driver maybe, but this kind of battling is costing them all time, and it's allowing a front group of 10 or so to get away.
Yeah, definitely lovely is Wedstead in that number 11 on the outside there as well, with Timo Braun and also Robert Ridgway fighting it out once more. These three going at it non-stop here, but it's going to be tricky for them. We're going to have to see how it plans out. Wedstead in the front, then Timo Braun, then Will McIntyre Jones, and then we got further down, we got Alex Hopkins, who just may have had an incident. It looks like he's had an incident. He's up the side of the circuit with Louis Gregg, I believe, and I think that's what's caused the problem here, Mr. O'Leary. I've got a funny feeling. Louis Gregg, Alex Hopkins, and I believe that's Eddie Amos there as well. Oh, just completely gets it all wrong. And as you can see there as well, the wing does come off and go back on. Did Louis Gregg manage to make it out back on track? It looks like he did, but that's another two drivers into the pits already. Wedstead going side by side with Connor Gibb. Gibb trying to fight his way through as well. Going to want to get up into that top 14 here at the moment. But Andre Kata side by side here with Kenzie Newhoff. Newhoff coming through the field. Generally does that after qualifying, doesn't he, really?
He does, but this is a problem at the Red Bull Ring, is that with these fights he's going to start losing groups in front, and there's a danger that the top three get away here. Kata on the defensive has just letting that gap open in front, and that's not good news for Newhoff. Around here as well at the Red Bull Ring, of course, I spoke about it earlier on, there are only 10 turns, and so that means it's very difficult to actually close in again. Once you've lost out on the draft of the car in front, you can struggle to get back into the draft of the group back in front. So there's a danger, real danger, that the top three get away for good in the opening moments of this race now because of that fight for fourth.
Yeah, 32 laps remaining. We've got slight little gaps appearing. Luca Verani sitting in 9th place at the moment. He's trying to chase down Evan Way, and he's breaking away from Robert Ridgway. He's got to get this turn one hooked up. There we go. Now he's got to get on the gas, get that curb away. You don't want to be hitting that sausage curb on the outside. It looks like Ben Gayotti. Marek Otlovs is in the pits already. Arturo Mayorga is another one that's in the pits here, and it's a fight that is developing. There's fights further up as well. Newhoff also with Andre Kata. Newhoff's going to try that cutback coming out of turn 3 there on that run down into Schlossgold. Newhoff didn't get it this time, but he's looking very racy behind Kata. He almost nearly kind of wants to get past because they're losing places and losing time to Tony Jimenez.
And this is exactly a repeat of the last lap as well. Newhoff cooks back to the inside again, but it's not going to happen, and the gap's opening up to those in front now as this race goes on. So it's bad news for Newhoff, really. He's looking to just secure a 4th place. Round the outside of the left-hander he goes, but he's going to have a slap in the face there from Kata, making sure that he doesn't leave that door open on the outside there. So Newhoff just needs to try and secure this 4th place and do what he can to manage that. But for the moment, this will be frustration because he's seeing those front three get away further and further, lap by lap. And those further behind are staying very close to him, applying pressure to him, the likes of Pedro Suarez right behind.
Well, lucky enough, he's got his teammate behind him, Pedro Suarez, there as well, so Suarez can play a little bit of a roadblock if it comes back to Simon Fessy getting involved here as well. So he's able to maybe provide Kenzie Newhoff that little bit of relief, that little bit of a, you know, a buffer almost that Newhoff's going to need to be able to clear Kata. Kata at the moment is basically almost a cork in a bottle. He's got 2, 4, 5 cars sitting up and coming up behind him. He's not looking as quick as Newhoff, but he's also driving in that way that makes it impossible for Newhoff to get past. He drives in such a defensive manner, is Kata at the moment, that Newhoff just can't get there. Everywhere Newhoff goes, Kata's already there, so he's got to start trying to make a move, or just say to Kata, come on, let's get on. You know, we've got 1.1 at the moment. We keep losing time. Then front 3 are adios, and at the moment Bartolotta has nearly opened up a second gap to Herma as well, so they've got to be a little bit careful. And once more here, they've got to have to be you know, you've got to work together. I think Timo Braun's at a moment. Unfortunately for Timo Braun, it looks like he's done that all on his own as he comes into turn 3. Oh, he's going to hit that curb. He did. He hit that curb, unsettled it, and unfortunately for Timo Braun, he's dropped all the way down into 25th place. Here's the question. Adam Townsber. We're not used to seeing Adam this far down, sitting in 23rd at the moment, chasing down Rino Scattini. He's normally sort of top 15, but anyway.
Yeah, not sure what he's doing at the moment, Townsber back there. Of course, he did qualify pretty badly in this race for whatever reason, and is a long way back starting here in this race, unfortunately. And that, oh dear, yeah. all sorts of chaos in the background there. Let's have a look at what happened. It's Timo Braun again. He was already struggling, got it wrong, and that's a big hit on the wall. Thankfully, it didn't collect anyone. Just a big hit on the wall. The car getting away from him on those curves on the outside there. And that's what can happen at this circuit. But yeah, that puts Townsborough up now 10 places. So a nice start from him, although Dennis Cornu gets down the inside of him here, or down the outside, and tries to take that position away. At least he's making up places, Townsborough, but it started a long way further back than he was maybe hoping for.
Yeah, started down in 32nd position here. Townsborough up 10 places, battling it out with Cornu. Townsman's had the inside line, and now on that run down into Schlossgold, he's going to get it through. Townsman manages to cement the place. What can he do with Cornudo? Can he drop him into the hands of Scattini and Solito there as well? Because that would probably do him a bunch of favours at the moment. Tony Jimenez is dropped into the clutches of Andre Kata. Jimenez has lost time, and now here comes Kata, Nuov, Suarez, there, Fessi, Way and Varani, all going to be pressuring onto the back of Jimenez. He's lost that little bit of time, didn't he, over Hermer? I think Hermer was just that little bit too quick for Jimenez, and now he's in that battle that could potentially take him down to 9th if he makes a mistake or if he gets overtaken.
Yeah, not sure if it was an individual error on one particular lap from Jimenez or whether he's just been gradually caught here, but he is going to be overtaken now by Andrea Kata, who is actually not that slow when he's single file, not being attacked by Neuhoff, but those few laps made him really lose a lot of time. Now it's him who's on the offensive. Neuhoff looking to follow through as well. Down in towards turn 4 they'll go. Jimenez tries to go around the outside, can't do it there, and so Kata does now have third place. Neuhoff will want to capitalise on this so he doesn't find himself in a similar situation of being stuck like he is now in 5th.
He's got to get it past. It looks like Rino Scattini and Giovanni Solito have had it coming together. This is on the run up into turn 2. You can see there Scattini on the right-hand side, Solito on the inside. Is he just going to turn? No. Scattini gets a slide. And unfortunately, Solito was in the inside. It looks like Marek Otlovs, Jose Arujo and Ben Gaiotti have also had moments on track here. But for Kenzie Neuhoff, he needs to clear Jimenez. He needs to get through because Kata Romani he was staying with has now moved his way forward. So for Neuhoff, he's got to look. You either could have come out of 1 and go up into 2, or you've got to look on that run down into 3 or 4. It's going to be a tough one for Neuhoff, but he's got to clear him here, Ewan, because he could just see Kata opening up into the distance.
Yeah, it's very, very tricky now for Jimenez, to defend. He seems to be really struggling here. And now Kenzie Neuhoff is down the inside. That was an even easier pass than it was for Andrea Kata, and surely Pedro Suarez is going to try and follow through as well. Simon Fessi is not too far behind either. In fact, he's right there as well as they looking side by side. Neuhoff hasn't got this done quite yet. He's now on the defensive line from Jimenez, who can't make it round there, and Suarez can't capitalise on that either. Yeah, unfortunately, Tony Jimenez really struggling now, and he'll be outside the top 5 pretty soon, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he is. He looks like he's had a bit of a rough one. He's not looking like he's hooking up this circuit, unfortunately. In the back there of Simon Fessi, you can see Evan Way and Luca Varani and Robert Ridgway all closing in. There's Ridgway. He's losing contact with this group ever so slightly. Varani is not losing contact with the group. It's going to be a tough circuit. Off tracks are going to be, going to be at a premium, really. But it is weird at the Red Bull Ring. There are some that are off and some that are on, and it's all very confusing, especially at certain parts of the circuit. Eddie Amos battling away with Connor Gibb. He's trying to go around the outside of turn 9. I think that Connor Gibb has just gone into the pits. I would not be surprised if that was a drive-through already for Connor Gibb, and we can have a look and just see if he is going to go all the way through. It looks like he's definitively going through there, and it doesn't look like he's going to be stopping. Oh, he is stopping, so maybe Connor Gibb has got a bit of a problem, but he is stopping at the moment, and Andre Kata's now got Kenzie Neuhoff charged. Well, he's trying to close him down as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we'll try and close him down now. The slipstream actually hasn't been as vital as I was expecting at the start of the day here. Max Bartolotto has been able to break away from Samuel Herman now as well. He's got the fastest lap to boot, and he's still in the 24.4s. Even the personal best of Samuel Herman on that last lap was not enough to close the margin. In fact, he still lost a 10th and a half on that last lap. And around this kind of circuit of this length, that's not actually that... that is quite a big gap, a 10th and a half, especially if you've set your personal best. So these gaps are starting to form now at the front of the field, more like a normal F3 race that we see in this league. We're just spreading apart a little bit. Wasn't expecting that, especially from the Red Bull Ring, I've got to say, but just seemed that gaps are slightly easier to open up than I was expecting.
Yeah, they are. Looks like Jose Araujo has had a little bit of a moment here as well. The man from America just goes in too deep. You're not going to make that one work. What's a rejoin coming back as well? We unfortunately did get a DQ last time out due to a rejoin that basically took out 7 people in the incident. Will McIntyre Jones has gone into the pits as well, partly because he's been off the side of the circuit. That's released Adam Townsma up 13 places, chasing down Reed Dennis, and he's not too far away from Garrett Spence, Eddie Amos, Potapenko, and Morrow and Stuart Milne. So for Adam Townsma here, he can make some good places up currently, and he can basically be able to move up quite through the field, Ewan, because they are still quite compact here. So for Townsma, he's got an opportunity to maybe jump 7 or 8 cars here.
Yeah, there's big chances here to gain places, and there's one of them down the inside at turn 3. A nice pass, and now there's all sorts of... Someone's got no front wing here. I don't know if they're involved in this actual group here, but someone's got no front wing. And that's a disaster, is it? I don't know who it is at the moment. It's
Clark Williams.
Clark Williams, is it, by the looks of things? And I've no idea why, but he's running around with no front wing, and that's going to be disastrous for his front downforce. He's just staying out the way of everybody rather smartly. Oh, no.
That was Will McIntyre Jones. That could explain why McIntyre Jones went into the pits here.
Well, I think McIntyre Jones was trying to go into the pit lane anyway, wasn't he? Was that why he was so slow? It must have been.
Possibly,
I know he didn't do the line on the way in, which you get some stick for, but I think he was trying to come into pit lane there anyway. And see, they don't stick to the right hand side there as they enter pit lane as you're really supposed to. And McIntyre Jones has been hit up the rear as a result, and unfortunately, Clark Williams with no front wing has had to get through a lap with no front downforce there.
And that's very imperative here in these open wheelers. They are very downforce dependent, and they need every single little bit of it, carbon that's poking out of them, rear wing and front wing end plates, the whole thing here to make that work. There's somebody else's rear front wing in the gravel trap there. That's quite an interesting one, the fact that his front wing is stuck there. But Nuoff with Jimenez, he did clear Jimenez in the end, and Jimenez is now trying to hold back Pedro Suarez. Not going to be easy for Pedro, for Jimenez. Suarez was second last time out as well, so he's got a little bit between his teeth here, I think, Suarez. I think he's got a lot of incentive to try and move up. I think last week he did a stellar job, and he kind of proved that he can race with everyone. He can take the second place and everything else, and that's the thing. And for Suarez, he did a great job. Jimenez goes on the defensive. Where is Suarez sitting in conjunction with him? He's a little bit far back at the moment here, Ewan, but surely he's got to be looking up that run from 1 to 3.
Yeah, you'd think so. That's where most would be looking for this move. I don't think anyone's exit off of that last corner, though, is going to be any good enough for a dive at turn 3. The braking zone slightly shortened, of course, by the fact that you are pitched uphill on the way in towards the mountainside almost, really, here. So through turn 3 they'll go, and then you have to get a good run off this turn for the more downhill braking zone, which sometimes is a little bit better for overtaking down into turn 4. Don't think Suarez is close enough again, and yeah, he'll have to stay behind again. One thing he has got an advantage of, though, is the fact that he hasn't got Simon Fessy right behind him anymore. The Frenchman has dropped quite a few seconds back now, and Evan Way has actually overtaken him for 7th in that group just behind these guys.
Yeah, we've got a further down group at Townsbury. He has made it up past Eddie Amos and Dennis Cornu. So the last time we saw Adam Townsborough. He's gained 4 places at the moment. Is the man from Scudiera Hydra Force Races. There was almost contact with Amos. Amos took a dive up the inside. He did manage to make it work. Can he carry that speed round into turn 5 though? That's going to be the problem. Amos on the outside in that almost tropical liveried F3. Townsborough running the inside. He's going to put him out of shape for that run. Out of Worth though, and into turn 8. Here goes Amos now. Is he going to have this opportunity to look at moving up the inside of 9? He's not going to get it done, I don't think. He might get him on that run out of 10 though, Ewan, and down into turn 1.
Yeah, it's going to have to be really. He might wait until turn 3 as well, to be fair, because it's not a big braking zone in towards turn 1, and he's going to have to stay behind here. He's nowhere near close enough. In fact, he's probably more worried about being overtaken himself here in towards turn 1. This braking zone though, nowhere near big enough. Look at the margins, very close on the way in through there. Nobody really maximising and getting towards the curb on the outside there, but Amos may well have gotten a good enough run here for having a go. Townsborough certainly going to have to be on the defensive, and it's very easy to do that. Just stay on the right-hand side from the racing line, which splits off there as you veer left, but late on the brakes. Amos gets through. That just blew Adam Townsborough away on the outside there. Edward Amos making up that place purely on the brakes.
Yeah, he definitely did there as well. Great job from Eddie Amos, and puts him now into the top 15 here. So a stellar job from him. Adam Towns. Cornu going in. Dearie me. Dennis Cornu went in far too hot there. He went in like a smoking gun, and unfortunately that was the result for Cornu on lap 13. That was far too fast. Never going to get that car stopped, Ewan, and unfortunately for Dennis Cornu, it's dropped him all the way down now into 20th.
It's a tricky braking zone. Oh dear, and Garrett Spencer's off the road at turn 5, 6 now into Roush Corner. Well, that's not ideal at all. He's just spun that sort of on the. I don't know if he was on the inside curb there, maybe, but he certainly just spun completely on his own, which was a bit of a shame for him. But yeah, turn 4 is a difficult braking zone at the best of times. Anyway, can't afford to be braking too late into there and hoping to pull it up in time.
You're never going to stop at a downhill, I can tell you that much. You've got that extra speed coming up right behind you as well. Now Suarez has cleared Jimenez as well. Unfortunately for Tony Jimenez, he's gone down the order. He's now down 3 places and has now got Evan Way for company. He's trying to have a go round the outside of Suarez. Suarez is going to have the inside for 5. He's going to let the car run out as Pedro Suarez onto the curb. There you go. Now set yourself up for the exit out of Worth here as well. He has done. Now that run out. Now that's all the curb you can take on that one as you're going out into 8 at the moment. Clark Williams and Maximilian Gerbart are having a nice little fruity battle a little bit further down. We'll pick up that one as well. Dennis Cornu now in the mix here with Marcello Kessler. He's just gone past Kessler there. So Cornu's trying to recover back through, and Kessler and him, at the moment in time, they're side by side. Kessler's going to have that inside line. Great job there from Marcello Kessler. Does make it through in that lovely tablecloth livery.
Picnic blanket kind of...
Well, looking
kind of livery,
looking on the side, it's got Marcello's Pizza and Pasta. So you could see that in an Italian-style restaurant, couldn't you? On the table.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe that is where it's from. Maybe it is as well. I know Max...
Maybe he does... Maybe that's his business.
Maybe it is. I know Gerbart's got the green version. However, that's going to be an off-track, Maximilian. You can't be doing that. Gerbart's got the green version, so that's pretty cool, to be fair. That looks like a traditional tablecloth, white in the middle and then a green edging. So there we go. But Matthew Gracie is having a go on the inside into turn 1 there as well. Does make it through. We're starting to see a little bit of a spread, but we're also starting to see Hermer closing on to Bartolotta here. So Samuel Hermer is slowly creeping into the back of Bartolotta. 124.41, 124.59 for Bartolotta. So a 10th come out on that occasion alone there, Ewan. Oh, Hermer.
He might have thrown it mostly away there with that big slide through the final corner. It was, lost a 10th in the end. Unfortunately, Bertolotta on that occasion still going faster than Hermer's best lap of the race so far. So that gives you an idea of the task he still has at hand here. The gap nearly a second. And if Hermer gets caught by Andrea Catta here before he catches Bartolotto, then he'll be in real trouble. And I think they'll both be in real trouble in terms of trying to win this race. Bartolotto will be really hoping that Catta gets near to Hermer.
Yeah,
otherwise there'll be big trouble. And I think he already is. So that could be problems for Hermer and good news for Bartolotto, who may well just scarper away as a result.
Yeah, Bartolotto's pulled out nearly a tenth over Hermer in Sector 1. We're going to pick up Sector 2 just on the exit here as well. We'll see what that comes through as. See whether or not Hermer's pulled any back. He hasn't. He's lost another tenth to Bartolotto. What about this final sector? It looks like there's been a little bit of an off-track up front as well. I think Jose Ruggiero is come off the circuit, but I think he's still carrying on, so it might have just been a bit of a blink of an off-track there once more. Now what's going to happen in this final sector is Bartolotto going to take more time out of Samuel Hermer. Samuel Hermer gets it back, not by much though, Ewan, but something is better than nothing, right? And now he's pulled out a little bit back from that one tenth that he had lost in the last one.
Yeah, I mean, I think even those small gaps in terms of a lap around here, it's very, very helpful because the laps aren't very long around here, as we know. So it's, even though it only looks like a very small margin at this stage, you know, it's quite big around here because of not only the shortness of the circuit, but the fact there aren't only 10 turns. That reduces dramatically the amount of time that you can gain in a lap, and the amount of time that you spend cornering does normally correlate to the amount of time you can gain. Very rare that you gain time on straights on someone that you're catching unless there's a major difference in terms of downforce. So Hermer does have to take those positives, although its gap's growing to nearly 1.2 now. I think Catta's going to get there before Hermer gets to Bartolotto, and that could be a real problem for Hermer. Could be an Italian 1-2 here. Catta actually looks pretty strong in this midpoint of the race.
Yeah, he does there as well. I was just about to pick up on Talmsma, was going at it with Eddie Amos, and Amos has looked like, unfortunately, he's had an incident. Now the question's going to be, was this on his own? That's Potapenko on the left-hand side as they're coming up into turn 3. Here we go. What does Amos happen? That was on his own, I think. I don't think he can blame anybody else for that one. Eddie Amos here as well. Now Talmsma and Potapenko going at it further down for that 14th and 15th place at the moment. So there we go. But we can have a look at some gainers here. I think there's people who's quite benefited from this. 16 places for Chuck Morrow, 17 for Talmsma, 14 for Kessler, and 15 for Zorano. That's some massive gains in the top 20 there of people who have gone up literally almost from the back of the grid.
Yeah, it's something we always see at this in this league. Some real big gains. I think even Chuck Morrow might even be able to get into the top 10 in this race. Oh, I'll say that the gaps are actually quite big, aren't they? Even though he's only in 13th place, the gaps are more than 10 seconds for him to get into the top 10. So maybe that is a stretch too far. But yeah, as I say, we always do see this. I mean, if you look at the bottom 5, for example, they've lost loads of places because they've had problems today. So that does take a little bit away from these guys who have gained so much. But even so, they've done a really good job for the likes of Chuck Morrow and also Adam Talmsma, who we expected it from, really. To be quite honest, we expected him to qualify a bit better, but he didn't. And that's the situation he finds himself in. Got to deal with what's in front of you. And right now for Talmsma, that is Vyacheslav Potapenko, who he's got to put away for 14th place.
And he's just not managing it at the moment. I think Potapenko has got some pace on him as well as Vyacheslav. He's I suppose from our point of view, he's always been quick, hasn't he, Potapenko? But sometimes gets caught up in silly little things and puts himself in positions where he shouldn't be. You know, he's sitting 15th in the overall standings at the moment as well as Vyacheslav. So he's got to be looking at trying to move up. He's got Pedro Suarez, Stuart Milne and Ivan Zorano. Well, he's not going to catch Stuart Milne and he's probably not going to catch Pedro Suarez, but he is in front of Ivan Zorano. So from Potapenko's point of view, that's not a bad gain at all. Simon Fessy here now going at Kenzie Neuhoff. He's now moved up onto the back of Neuhoff. Suarez has passed both of them and Jimenez has got back past Neuhoff. That's not what Neuhoff wanted here, Ewan, is it really? He needs to be kind of staying in front of people like Jimenez and like Suarez.
Yeah, he does. I think he's struggling a bit on straight line speed today, I forgot to say. And that's why he's having so many problems in overtaking other people and then getting overtaken himself. I reckon there's a straight line speed problem going on for him at the moment, and that's really important at the Red Bull Ring to have that straight line speed. Samuel Hermer was briefly overtaken by Andrea Katta, by the way, on that last lap, but has retaken that place now, so the fight for second has really ignited. It's given Max Bortolotta a 2-second lead, and surely that's rolled out the red carpet for him to go and try and win this race right now, but the battle for second won't go away. Hermer won't give that position over. Katta looking strong and like he wants to take that second place.
Yeah, he definitely does here. Katta's going to have a move into that uphill braking zone on the left-hand side. He's just got to send it in a little bit deep. Hermer gives him a bucket load of room. He's trying to get the exit out. I think Katta's going to go do it. I don't think Hermer could get the power down as quickly as he would like there as well. That's Bartolotta coming into back markers already, and Andre Katta did make it through. Hermer jigs to the other side of the track. He's going to run him around the outside. Hermer's made a mistake.
Oh, no.
Outbraked himself for Samuel Hermer, and that's allowed Katta through. And now we've got an Italian 1-2 here as well that you wouldn't normally see in any form of Grand Prix racing as well, especially in Formula 1 with the Ferraris. It's never going to be a Ferrari 1-2. But for now, we've got an Italian 1-2 here. Kenzie Neuhoff in a battle. Simon Fessi, Tony Jimenez and Evan Way. Jimenez has lost 1, 2, 3 places and is now sitting at the back with Varani closing him down. Oh!
Oh no! Oh! Huge crash in the background. And what on earth went on there? One of them's actually gone over the barriers immediately. Evan Way might have been the one. It was. He cartwheeled over the barriers and outside the bounds of the circuit entirely. It was here alongside, I can't spot who it was alongside for the
Jimenez.
moment, Jimenez, spectacular crash, and I'm not really sure who to blame from that angle, really. I'm not sure who went into who. It's difficult to tell from the onboard. I think Jimenez drifted right there a little bit, didn't he? I don't think Evan Way squeezed that and did that to himself. I think Jimenez just moves off the curb.
No.
Yeah, even after the curb's finished, he's got to move off the curb, obviously. But even after the curb had finished, he was still moving right towards Evan Way.
No, unfortunately, Mr. O'Leary, I don't often tell you that you're wrong. Now have a look at the front left of Evan Way on the right-hand side.
Well, I know, but that's because he's spinning.
No. I don't know if you can see it. Check out the gap in the middle. Watch the rear. There you go. That is not either driver's fault, unfortunately. There was do you see what I mean?
That has certainly played a role as well.
It's a massive. I love the fact you say certainly. Watch, it's literally pulled Evan Way across. Boom. That was like a 1.5-foot gap.
Yes. Yeah, well, my argument is that Jimenez didn't need to be that close to him, and he could have stopped that from happening. Is my there you go. They're not really very close, are they, to be honest? But even so, yeah. I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it, that Jimenez could have stayed away. But anyway, yeah, there's quite a big gap between them, unfortunately.
I was going to say, there's about 1.5 foot, if not more, between the two cars there. That's not even wheel to wheel, is it? So
no, not really. I didn't spot that initially. Actually, I didn't spot it at all. I was too busy focusing on who was heading in what direction to even possibly look at where the contact was made. So yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it's a shame for both because they were running inside the top 10, and for Evan Way especially as well, he was 4th in the championship going in today. Jimenez was 5th. They were only 1 point apart. They'll stay 1 point apart by the end of the day, but this will become a drop round for the both of them, you'd imagine. Yeah,
and as per normal, we're going to have a look and see what it was like on board with Evan Way here as we go up into the air. There we go. We're going to start spinning round and round and round we go, and over the barrier he went. You know I do love a good spinning camera angle. Husband Varani is chasing down on Simon Vessi, who's trying to chase down Kenzie Neuhoff here. But boy, oh boy, that was a spectacular incident, and a lot went on in that one. And there was also a good 1.5 foot, if not more, between the two cars here again as well. But for Varani, he's not going to moan. He's up 2 places on the day. He's going to look at trying to get another one here as well if he can. Is he going to make the move and into turn one? Varani backed out of that one, unfortunately, and now he's got to look at trying to get the run out up to the hill. Can he get him up this hill here for Luca Varani? He's going to be tucking up right behind him at the moment. The time's going to be coming down. This man here as well, Luca Varani, chasing down the Frenchman of Fessy. Is he going to try the inside line? He's not there either, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? With that, it didn't look aggressive. Like, he didn't look like he was going to take the move. So I don't know if he's just settled in behind him with 12 laps remaining. But I find that hard to believe from Luca Varani. But that looked a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It looked a very, it kind of wasn't aggressive. It looked like there was no intention there. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and we have heard this sometimes before about Varani not really being too aggressive, but you know, I don't mind that style of driving that he has at all. It's often led to some very good finishes. I mean, we know in the last season didn't have such a good time of things, but that's not really due to his performances on the circuit. Really, he had a great second season of 2023, and he was right up there involved in the championship fight right until the penultimate round of the season, I believe, where he was still very close, and in the end didn't quite work out for him. But that was built on consistent driving and not making these moves, not being too aggressive. And so he's just sort of building the speed up again before he can build up any sort of aggression, even if that is going to be the case. And so I don't mind it at all, making sure he doesn't take any risks here as he tries to pass Simon Fessy in towards turn 3. He's not going to make the dive from there by any means.
Yeah, that was Giovanni Solito. If you wondered what the car was on the right-hand side, Solito looks like he's had a bit of a spin here as well. I'm interested to see about the fact that Matt Brewer and Giovanni Solito, so I'm wondering if Brewer... No, he's just done it on his own, and I think Solito did it on his own as well. Here, Giovanni, yeah, he caught the curb and unfortunately sent himself round there. So Giovanni Solito going around. Fessy now with Varani still tucked up right behind him. You know, I know Luca's been patient, and I know he's consistent, and I know he gets the points on the board, and I know he was in that championship fight, and I know he was there to the ultimate round. But boy, oh boy, Luca Varani, give me some grrr. Come on, he's had the run on him twice coming out that final corner. You know, put it out the inside of him, gain that position, take that chance. You know, I know he's probably going to message me after this, and I know he'll probably say, James, I'm not that driver. And I'm like, I know you're not, Luca, but I just want you to be that driver for once. Take the move over Fessy. You can get the run out of one. You can get the run up the hill. Come on, Varani, send it.
I mean, I like you the way you are, Lucas, so that's fine.
Oh, stop it, you. Suck up.
Well, he's going to do it now anyway.
Yes.
See, his patience has just paid off because he's gotten through anyway. Without so his driving is vindicated in one straight. He moves up to 6th position. Ahead of Simon Fessy. I'm not sure really why Fessy gave him the position. It looked like he just gave him the position.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's actually what happened, but I don't know why, if that is the case, why he would do that with that only just over 10 laps to go. But anyway, he has done. Luca Varani is now up to 6th place, and yeah, his seasons and his results are built on this style of driving, and I think it would disrupt too much if he tried to do something a little bit different. And that goes for anyone with any sort of driving style, by the way. If we saw a really aggressive driver's driving style from someone who goes out and goes for it all the time, then I would also advise them not to become a Luca Varani type of driver, because it's not their style. So it's not just because I like the style of being sort of laid back and sitting back in the way that he does. It's because it's probably not a good idea to go away from your natural style in that way. So Varani has been patient again, and this time it has paid off for 6th place for him at the moment. But I'm not sure he's quite going to get to 5th. Certainly not if this lap car's going to stay in the way.
Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not happy, Mayorga. Come on, you've had to straighten a bit there. You're running him up into the curb. That should have been done 2 straights ago, Arturo. I'm sorry there, sir. Don't make me go on a blue flag. Don't try and... Come on, Scattini. Do me a favour. There we go. Rino Scattini does move out the way as well. I think that from Arturo Mayorga could have been done a couple of corners back. And definitely on the straight there, disrupting the flow of the Mr. Consistency. Maybe we should call him that. Mr. Consistent or Mr. Reliable. I like Mr. Reliable. That's a good one, and I know he'll watch his back after and be like, cheers, James, for that. But I think, as you say, if he hasn't got that Mr. Lion in him, then we could go with Mr. Consistency or Mr. Reliable Luca Varani. He's the kind of person that if somebody said to you, who would you put your house on finishing the race, I suppose you would go for Luca Varani at that point, wouldn't you? Because he probably would be that person who would finish the race.
Yeah, probably. He's finishes more often than not. Although I'd say that Road Atlanta was a different story for him. Think he finished down 33rd or something like that. It was a long way down, but that's pretty abnormal for him. Realistically, he's been inside the top 10 on a couple of occasions. Other than that, and the only time he wasn't, he finished in 11th. So that was nearly a top 10 at the opening round of the season. Yeah, he's very reliable to not only finish the race, but also to finish inside the top 10. And at the moment, that looks like what's going to happen. I'm not sure Simon Fessi's going to go away, though. This is going to be a fight to the end between these two, I would imagine. And it is, so far, the only battle inside the top 10 still ongoing in the final 10 laps of this race now.
Yeah, we've got Chuck Morrow. He's trying to hold back Adam Townsma. Townsma's trying to gain up his 21st gain here. So Townsma is trying to go up 21 positions, and he's in 12th. What that means is he started down in 33rd. He's going to have a go at sending out the inside there as well. Great job from Morrow. He got the run out, and now he's kind of trying to get away here. Marcello Kessler is on the back of Marek Otlovs with Eddie Amos not too far behind Connor Gibb, and Matthew Gracie has got Ben Gaiotti for company. That's probably about all the battles in the top 25 at the moment. I think we've lost a few drivers. I think Jose Arugio is probably the last runner at 35th, and he is a lap down. But Ben Gaiotti now going to have a go at Matthew Gracie on that run up into turn 3 here. Gaiotti on the left-hand side. Gracie through as well. They're in the same livery colours, so I'm going to presume they are part of the same team. And they are, the green and the red, for that Modern Racing Prince GP team going at it. And if they take each other out, that is not going to look good. As the first rule of racing, don't ever take out your teammate. And I don't think they are.
Oh, no.
He is. Oh.
Well, I thought he was going to do it then. I really did. He was just he got it stopped quite well, to be fair to him. So I just underestimated his ability on the brakes, clearly, because I thought they were going to go crashing into each other there entirely. But they got away with it all, and in the end, it was quite a nice fight. But always makes me very nervous, that braking zone in towards turn 4. The sort of downhill, off-camber nature of it does mean that the inside car sometimes can skate into the outside one, as we've seen in the past.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be doing that as teammates, though, as well. But I want to pick up at Stuart Milne. He's still having a fight with Morrow. They've been side by side for a while as he's coming down into turn 4 now. Milne on the left-hand side. The Scotsman in that 49 liveried car. Chuck Morrow, the American, right beside him as well. I tell you what, Milne was very, very nice on the exit of that, because he could have opened up his steering. Morrow... Oh, it's on the inside as well. And again, they're both very cordial in the way that they've done their racing. I can tell you that one, because Milne could have opened up that. He could have opened up that steering. He could have stopped that run. He could do it now as well. He could have opened it up and just given Morrow a little bit more to think about coming into turn 9. Here, Milne does make it through the Scotsman, but the American is not going to give it up easy. Chuck Morrow there in that yellow liveried car is not going to give it up easy over Stuart Milne, but Stuart Milne did get the job done. Fessy, Varani, Nuoff going at it here as well.
Oh, Fessy up 2 places, but locks up dramatically into turn 3, and Neuhoff has dropped those 2 places, so he was 5th, dropped to 7th, now he's back to 6th, and now looking for 5th again. Not sure what happened to him. It must have been a mistake through turn 1 to let all this happen. 3 wide, Varani was trying to close off the Neuhoff avenue, but couldn't do that, and while that was happening, Fessy was going round the outside. Varani ended up braking early, and Neuhoff ended up going through. Then there was a lock-up from Fessy, and they're still side by side. He's still feeling the effects of that lock-up now, because Neuhoff is looking for the move through turn 6 this time. No, the move is not going to happen on that occasion. So Fessy is now inside the top 5. Neuhoff is going to look for that position, but he has struggled to overtake all day.
Yeah, he definitely has. He's now tucked up behind time. Simon Fessy, the Frenchman here, holding back the Dutchman. Let's see what happens as they're going down now through the final corner. Kata with the fastest lap of the race. His gap up front is down to 1.2 seconds. He's got 5 laps remaining as we go on to lap 30. Now as well, it's not going to be very long. Can and Nuoff get on to the back and clear. Simon Fessy here, stay off that outside curve. Varani's tucked up in the background, losing a little bit of pace at the moment. Here's that Luca Varani. He's taking the shortest route round the circuit, though, giving himself no draft whatsoever, unfortunately, to be able to pull him in. Nuoff's going to look up the inside into turn 3. Nothing doing there. He backs back out again. He looks for the run. Fessy looks like he got that a little bit deep here, so Nuoff is going to be tucked up right behind him. Coming down into Schlossgold turn 4, downhill braking zone. Can Nuoff take that inside line? He pulls out. He fakes a dummy. He looks at going up the inside. Doesn't get it done this time as they're heading off around into turn 5 here. Nuoff's got it. He's got to get that back under control, though, Ewan. He's got to try and get that place away from Fessy. He needs that top 5 for Nuoff. Leading the championship, you've got Bartolo, Kata, and Herma going to score big points. And now it's all about what Nuoff needs to do here in this championship fight as well. He's got to clear Fessy. Every point will count.
Yeah, especially Bartolotta, really, because of the top 10, only Bartolotta is actually gaining on Nuoff at the moment. So I know he's down outside the top 5, but it's actually a decent day for Kenzie Nuoff in terms of those who are near him. He's beating most of those who matter in the championship so far. Gap 14 points at the start of the day between Bartolotta and Nuoff, and as things were to stay as they are, that would reduce to 9 points. It is still early on in the season, though, to be talking that kind of game. It's only round 5, and that, of course, doesn't apply any drop weeks, which you will have to do, and we'll probably start to do after the conclusion of round 6 coming up next week.
Yeah, we'll start bringing them in as well, and I know on the website you can apply them at any point, and generally you would apply them at the end and still
after round 1, of course.
Yeah, and after round 1, of course. Yeah, you can't chop around that you haven't actually done. Stuart Milne and Top Morrow were a lot closer a minute ago. Milne's just lost that little bit of time there as well. Simon Fessy and Kenzie Nuoff still battling it out further up. We've also got Kessler is now getting onto the back of Connor Gibb here. This is Kessler's up 12 places. Gibbs down 5, of course. The 2.5K, I think it was actually the rookie champion last year, wasn't he, Connor Gibb? So he's now going to be in with the main guys as well. So Connor Gibbs sitting 6th in the championship, but No Limits Racing is under attack from the... I was going to say something from Marek Otlov's, not Marek, Marcello Kessler here as well. There was... The pizza place. I was going to... Anyway, Kessler's now fighting Howard Gibb. I'm not sure where I was going with that one, Ewan. Just jump in at any point.
From the flying picnic blanket, I suppose, that Marcel Kessler, who's trying to get through, can't do it at the moment. Yeah, Conor Gibb has often built these championship runs, at least he did last season, on consistency and being there every time, rather than any flashy results particularly. Only looking to hold on to a top 20 here, for example. This would only be, or I suppose would still be 24 points, which it's still quite a lot. But even so, it's only a top 20 for the moment. He was inside the top 5 of the championship last season as well. Overall championship, that is. Pushed Nuoff to the latter point of the season, but unfortunately his championship aspirations fell apart at Laguna Seca, the penultimate round of last season, where unfortunately that came to an end at the corkscrew on the first lap, incidentally. But yeah, Gibb sort of builds this on being here every time, being in the points every time as well, and that does give him decent championship positions. But this is what I mean about Nuoff. He is gaining on all those that really matter. I mean, Greg Sykes is not even here today. Evan Way and Tony Jimenez were caught up in that accident earlier on today. Connor Gibbs down in 20th. Robert Ridgway is not here today, as far as I can work out. Neither is Zach Williams. Arden Townsman started way down, and Andy Flint is not here either. Yeah. There are all the others in the top 10 who Nuoff is beating at the moment.
Yeah, Ridgway is here. There he is. Ridgway was obviously closing in on that Varani battle, got a little bit dropped off, Robert Ridgway, so he's been spending sort of half of this race around on his own, unfortunately. Milne and Morrow, they can't leave each other alone at the moment. Milne's closed the gap back up, coming in with that 4/10, nearly half a second marker. Morrow got a big old slide on there as well. That's going to allow Milne to close in a little bit more, tuck it into that draft. You can see just about half a second they need to get the draft here, Ewan. You saw it with Milne. He was out with that half a second mark. He come down ever so slowly. here as well. Oh, look, 4-3, 4-2, 4-1. Yeah, it's about that 4.5 to 5 tenth mark that you actually start making use of that draft and pull yourself in a little bit. No!
Oh, no.
Ah!
And round he goes. Such a shame for Chuck Morrow, who unfortunately has lost out on a top 10 place, and Milne moves forward. Well, what a shame that is. But Chuck Morrow, he's not going to lose it all, thankfully. He will still have gained, what, 18 places on the day, maybe 17. Adam Talsborough will now be in a battle with him, looking to gain his 21st position of the race. But real shame for Morrow, who I really thought would get in the top 10 in this race after all that.
Where's his rear wing?
Oh, no, he's not got a rear wing, no.
How did he lose that? Did somebody come... What? Hold on, it goes round.
The spin's certainly on his own. Milne hits him there.
Yeah, but...
Milne hits him.
Did he hit him enough to lose a rear wing?
Clearly so, I suppose. And he's really struggling now. What a shame for Chuck Morrow. Only 2 laps to go at the line. And he might soldier on here, but he's already down in 16th place. What a disaster.
Yeah, it's a shame for the American there. Was having a great battle with Stuart Milne. He has headed in. Simon Fessy with Nuoff, 4 tenths back at the moment as well. Bartolotto's out in front. His gap's now coming down to about a second. I don't think Cadder's going to have enough time. I've got to be honest. Nuoff and Fessy here as well. Fessy goes a little bit wide. Almost Nuoff tucks it up the inside as they're coming round turn 6 now. We finish off that run round that bronze ball there as well. Out of Worth on that run out into 8. Nuoff's tucked up right behind him at the moment. Simon Fessy in that 27 here as well. Nuoff with the number 1 last season's champion. Looking at the inside of turn 9. Is he going to get him onto 10? He's not going to get him onto 10. It's the final lap of the race. It's the Bartolotta is losing a chunk of time. He's down to 7 tenths here, Ewan. And if he's not careful, Katter's going to be on the back of him.
Well, he will be there now, and there'll be lap traffic in front as well. Lap traffic who are fighting for positions themselves. Matthew Gracie and Ben Goyette are fighting for 23rd in the field at the moment, and that could disrupt Bartolotta as well. Katter all of a sudden has got a real turn of pace at the end of this, and Bartolotta is suddenly really struggling. Not sure whether it's tyres or whether it's just Katter being quick at this stage, but Bartolotta's last lap was a 23.9. That's not bad at all, but it was still slower than Katter, who will close in all the way to the line. I think he is going to slightly run out of laps though, unfortunately.
Yeah, he is as well. Gap's down to about half a second at the moment, but there are back markers in front of us here as well. It's the 2, I believe that's the 2 MLP boys of Ben Gaiotti and Matthew Gracie, but I don't think Katter's going to get there. He's going to get the gap down to about 4 tenths at the moment now as well. Round turn 8 is down to 4 and a bit. Is he going to be able to get that run down into the line? I think Bartolotta is going to look it up. There's a crash. Oh, there's an incident right towards the end of the line. Here comes Bartolotta. He does go over with Katter in second place, but that was Chuck Morrow. Chuck Morrow's day has just gone from bad to worse. He gets a slide, unfortunately, does Morrow. He goes off the side of the circuit, spins it up in front of the MRP, and then you've got your leaders trying to come through as well, and unfortunately they're not a good look here. Let's have a look and see what Bartolotta saw. There's the initial lock-up from Morrow. He comes back out, comes back in front. Oh
my goodness.
Bartolotta, wow. That was a moment there for Max Bartolotta. That could have gone horribly wrong. We'll pick up on this Kessler battery. He's running side by side at the moment with Connor Gibb. They're coming round out of Worth here as well. Before he goes round to turn 8 here, he could have taken a tighter exit there, Kessler. I'm sorry, he could have done. Connor Gibbs trying to go back now. They're coming round into 9. It's going to be Marcello Kessler and Connor Gibb as we're going to be going here as well. But I think Gibbs going to hang on. Here he is going to hang on to that one, but Marcello Kessler could have taken a little bit of a tighter line coming out of turn 8, and he didn't quite manage it this time. But that alone for Bartolotta could have been horrendous.
Yep, and he survives a very late scare from absolutely everybody. The gap at the line, just 4 tenths of a second, lost another half second on that last lap. A lot of it down to the lap traffic in front of him. Chuck Morrow sliding through the penultimate corner, just having a disaster of an end to what could have been a great day for him. And look at how close this was on the right-hand side. Very close in the end. On another day, that could have been right in front of Bertilla, and Kata could have taken the win. There's Chuck Morrow having his own problems, and this is Bertilla's on board. What he saw, it's even more dramatic from this camera angle. Look at that right-hand side. That was so close. He gets away with it, though, and takes the race win, but he'll be breathing a big sigh of relief at the end of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That could have been horrendous for Max Bertilla there. But here are the final results. It is Bertilla, your winner. Andrea Kata in second. Samuel Hermer in third place. Pedro Suarez in fourth with Simon Fessi in fifth. Luca Varani in sixth with Robert Ridgway seventh. And then Kenzie Newhoff eighth. And Christian Glamseater finishes down in ninth with Stuart Milne in 10th. Tony Jimenez in 11th, Adam Townsma there as well. Big shout out to him, up 20 places on the day is the Canadian, and he makes it into the top 12. That is alone is a great job. Vyacheslav Potapenko in 13th, Reed Dennis 14th, and Nick Carty is your top 15. Yeah, Ivan Zorano down in 16th. Connor Gibb did manage to stay in front of Marcello Kessler for 18th place. Garrett Spence 19th, and Eddie Amos rounds out the top 20. Ben Gaiotti 21st, Marek Otlov's 22nd. Matthew Gracie 23rd, Evan Way 24th, and Chuck Morrow in 25th. Paolo Brem 26th, Clark Williams 27th, Dorian Orujo 28th, Maximilian Gerber in 29th, and Reno Scattini rounds out the top 30. They were a lap down. Arturo Mayorga, Giovanni Salito, and Matt Brewer. Then we've got the guys who haven't finished: Jose Arugio, Michael LeMay, Dennis Cornu, Louis Gregg, and Will McIntyre Jones. There was obviously, I think there was a couple behind that as well: Richard Wedstead, Timo Prawn, and Alex Hopkins. So that rounds out the grid. I think, to be fair, Red Bull delivered, the Red Bull Ring delivered us the racing that we would expect from here, but it also took some casualties, and that could have been Max Bertilla in that final corner. If Morrow had come in a completely different angle, that could have been Kata's win there, and I'm not even saying that he might have even taken Kata out at the same time, because Kata went the same way as Bertilla, but it definitely would have played a part if them guys have got that all wrong.
Well, yeah, that is true, to be fair. They could have both been taken out. Could have been Samuel Hermer's day. You just never know. But they really got away with one there. One of the most dramatic endings we've seen to a race for a little while. And certainly the closest finish we've seen for a little while as well. A big drama right at the very end. And thankfully for Bertilla, he got away with that. Gained some points in the championship as well. Newhoff ended up finishing in 8th place in that race. And so 7 points lost. That's exactly half of his margin he had over Bertilla. So his lead will be reduced to 7 from 12, which it was at the start of the day from Greg Seitz. Bertilla will now move up to that second position in the championship, but we'll move on. Still 7 more races of this season remaining every week up until the start of December.
It was as well. We go on to Motorland Aragon next week there as well. I do want to have just a quick touch on Tony Jimenez. He ended up losing 8 places and finished down in 11th. For Jimenez, he did not like the Red Bull Ring. Clearly, yeah, there was a pace issue going on there as well, and he finished behind Glamsetter, he finished behind Milne, just in front of Townsma. So for Tony Jimenez, that wasn't a good day for him, Ewan, but I don't think he was the only one that may have struggled on this track. Obviously, Adam Townsma made positions, qualifying didn't go so well for him. Michael LeMay is another one that didn't really get on with the track. I don't think he's qualified well down the order. Clark Williams, Paolo Brem, you know, it looks like it's been a tough day for a few of these racers.
Yeah, it certainly has. And Jimenez, of course, was caught up in that incident with Evan Way, which obviously really didn't help him over the course of that race, and probably contributed to him finishing way down the order in the end of that one. Yeah, he made a stop, of course, throughout that race to repair that front wing and get a new one. So that's to be expected, really. To be fair, the fact that he finished in 11th, I think, is quite impressive considering the damage that he had and the fact he had to come down pit lane and everything. So I don't think he should be beating himself up too much about that. It's just one of those unfortunate incidents more than anything. And He finished down in 11th, recovered quite well from it, in my opinion, really.
Yeah, he definitely did. Well, guys, that's going to bring the end of the broadcast here as well. It's been another epic race, but we go on to round 6 at Motorland Aragon next week. Check out all the racing that's coming up as well. There'll be more videos up tomorrow. We've got the Clios kicking off, the JPB Clios, UK Sim Racers, BSC. We've got a lot going on next week, but I think for now, guys, that's going to wrap it up here from the Redbull Ring. I've been James Parfitt alongside Ewan O'Leary, and for now, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.